I'm going to read an article here. I'm going to get your response on it. This is an article almost a year old, but I've been thinking about this an awful lot in the last little while. We'll bring up a few good topics here on here. Group Robert, you know what Group Robert is? That's out of Quebec. Like the
that trucking company.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Robert's.
Group Robert forced to reinstate truck driver fired for drinking and driving. A Quebec trucking company has been ordered to reinstate a driver who was fired after she drank at least 9 beer before she lost control of her truck on a Pennsylvania highway. The driver's actions amounted to serious misconduct, but her drinking was the result of a disability, alcoholism. The trucking company Group Robert should have made a reasonable accommodation for her, the labor arbitrator Hugh April said in her written July 18th decision. The night of the accident, she needed to drink, April said. She admitted that even though she knew she shouldn't, the need was stronger, like something that she couldn't control. Group Robert fired the driver after she was involved in a single vehicle crash shortly before midnight on June 30th, 2022. The facts of the case say the driver stopped twice to buy a 6-pack of beer as she drove from a Montreal suburb to Pennsylvania. The woman admitted she drank at least 9 beer during the trip, but she said she didn't remember whether she drank the final 3 on the road. After the crash, which damaged the truck but caused no injuries, she was arrested with a blood alcohol level that was 0.18, more than twice the legal limit.
Whoa.
Reported drinking problem. The driver told her employer about her drinking problem about a week after the crash. One day after she sought medical help to stop drinking, she was officially fired August 31st after she had completed an inpatient addiction treatment program. April said there was no evidence Group Robert asked or verified whether their troubled employees suffered from alcoholism. The driver told the arbitrator the company could have installed an alcohol testing device on her truck after the crash or found other work for her. Group Robert, meanwhile, told April that the collective agreement between the company and the union representing drivers is clear. The penalty for drinking and driving is immediate termination of employment. Group Robert to appeal. The company said it will appeal the decision. At Group Robert, the safety of all road users is an absolute priority, company spokesman Kim Leclerc wrote in an email on Monday. Leclerc said the decision to fire the driver was not taken lightly. We have a responsibility to the community to ensure that our employees meet the highest safety standards. Marc-Andre Gauthier, spokesman for Teamsters Canada, the union that represents the driver and that challenged her dismissal, said it has an obligation to defend its members in work-related matters. Regardless of the circumstances, road safety is a priority for the union, Gauthier said in an email Monday. We encourage drivers to respect driving laws and transport companies to put the necessary policies and tools to allow their employees to practice their profession in complete safety, he wrote, adding that the union cannot comment further because the company is appealing the arbitrator's decision. There's a couple of comments here. One is from Ray Gumpf. As for the union's point of view, they take the dues they must represent regardless of the circumstances. To do less is a violation. They're the same as the defense attorney. They must provide the best defense possible and do not necessarily have to agree with the position. As for the arbitrator's decision, yes, alcoholism is a problem, but does it need accommodation? There's a difference between illness that are self-induced and those which happen naturally. It's pushing the boundaries of civility to have alcoholism declared worthy of accommodation. That I'm not exactly sure what the current status on that appeal is. I'm assuming, and I sure hope, that it was overturned. But when you have an arbitrator, or a judge declare something as bizarre as a drunk driving commercial driver as being you have to accommodate their alcoholism, that is endangering the public.
That's the law, though.
Well,
the company I was at before, if you were caught drinking, and I know of a driver that got an impaired charge in Illinois.
While he was driving truck?
Correct. His own truck. But the company had to put him through AA or whatever it was, kind of to help him. And Illinois actually dropped the charges when they found out how well the company had done with this driver. Then they released this driver to go back driving. I don't know how long they suspended him, but he had to go through this program. Then a year later, that same cop in Illinois saw the truck, thought, you know what, I'm just going to pull him over just for a routine check. And the guy was drunk again.
Oh, no.
Then the company terminated him immediately. That they can do. But they have to go through the first step first. That's the law.
Wow.
Yep.
There are some things, in my opinion, that you shouldn't be arbitrating. It should be made crystal clear for every driver.
But how many drivers out there aren't smoking pot?
Yeah.
That is a huge problem.
Now, just alcoholism in the States is actually treated very different than it is in Canada. It's a criminal offense here in Canada, but it's not. It's like a misdemeanor in the States. You know, it's their position very different than ours. If that person would have been in Canada, or especially in Manitoba, I think Ontario as well, they'd immediately have their drivers suspended.
Correct.
And they couldn't.
I think they would in the U.S. as well. I know this driver that was with our company. His was.
Really?
Yep.
But I have a problem with not being harsh enough with certain things, like drugs and alcohol in a commercial driver. It doesn't make any difference whether our government legalizes pot or not. It should make zero difference in the consumption of it from a commercial driver perspective.
Yep.
I do know that there are individuals who recreationally use marijuana, but then they spend however many days home before they don't.
But it never leaves the blood system. Like if you get tested, you're still gonna test positive.
Well, it does leave after a certain amount, though, doesn't it?
After a year.
After a year?
Yep.
I'd like to.
That leaves the blood system. Hey, I did what do they call that? Where you put your feet in. There's a place in Winnipeg where you can detox.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Where you put your feet in water.
Oh, yeah.
And they have electricity in there.
Yeah.
Like low voltage or whatever, and it draws stuff out of the bottom of your feet. And I had not smoked for probably 25 years.
Oh, wow.
And she says, "Are you a smoker?"
Oh.
I said, "No." She said, "You were?" I said, "How do you know?" She said, "It shows in the water."
Oh, really?
Oh, my word.
And that was that long after.
Yeah.
So they say you smoke marijuana, it's in your system for that long.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like when people are smoking, I do not breathe. I'm out of there.
Yeah. I had a client. This was many years ago, long before it was still illegal, and he had a speech impediment, and that made him sound like he was drunk. is a little bit like who's that Kennedy president, RFK guy down the state.
Junior.
Yeah,
Yes.
but it is a little bit like that. But it actually sounded like he was drunk, a lot more so
Okay.
than Kennedy does. But so I noticed that interviewing, but he was totally losing. Like everything was all fine, and but he would regularly be picked up, and like go to a scale or something like that. They'd always test him. Like he would be regular on a monthly basis, and it was just because of his speech impediment,
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
And there was one time where they tested, and he actually had marijuana in him, and he says, "What in the world?" Like and he said, he was at a truck stop, and he was watching television, and there was a guy beside him who was smoking marijuana, and. And so he got secondhand marijuana smoke on him, and he says, "Yeah, how do you do it?" And then you have the speech impediment and it was really set up against him. Well, at least that's the story that he told me.
Yeah.
Maybe who knows?
Yeah.
I've been told a lot of really wild stories over the years.
Yeah.
But
and I don't know. Maybe I take it. Well, I take my job very personal, and I take a lot of pride in what I do too.
Correct.
And I understand there's possibly a medical issue to alcohol. That can be argued this way and that.
It's an addictive behavior, right?
Yeah. And, there's a good argument for both sides. And even if you just leave that alone, I still think there should be a zero tolerance for commercial drivers.
Is there not a zero tolerance?
There's supposed to be.
But I thought there was.
Well, okay, but if you have to hire someone back for this incident, like to make them hire him back would say, in my mind, says, okay, we have a zero tolerance problem, but they have an addiction, so we have to make accommodations for that. Okay. You're arguing the point back and forth. It is no longer a zero tolerance. A zero tolerance means once, done.
But at a 1.8, they should rethink that a little bit.
Absolutely.
0.18,
absolutely.
Yeah, that's
because if you're the commercial operator, okay, let's take it one step up. Should we then also take that and apply it to our commercial pilots? Can it fit to commercial? We're special rated hauling commercial pilots.
No, you're right.
Truck drivers.
You're right.
Can you not? Is this why are we holding this one different? No, you know what? As dangerous it is to fly a plane, it's just.
You don't want a pilot drinking 9 beer on the way to Toronto.
No, that's right. So a zero tolerance is a zero for me. It's an extremely harsh, unforgiving rule.
I can't understand how they even would go that direction, like with a person that drinks that much.
Some people can hide it really good.
Yeah, they can,
but beer is not something you can hide. Like you hide it with vodka generally because you don't have the
smell.
The smell with vodka but beer is like very yeasty smell. You can tell that.
No, I think in this case, I don't think that company should be. I wouldn't want to hire them back. No, at least not to drive.
I applaud their standing on principle and appealing it. Thank you very much. Everybody should be standing in appreciation.
It's their company. They should not. They shouldn't put their insurance or the lives of other people out there at their equipment.
Yeah.
Exactly. I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
I'm not. It's not that I'm heartless to alcohol.
No.
It's just that we're in a different standing. Commercial drivers like you have people's lives
Oh,
in your hands.
you're rolling 80,000 pounds at 70 mile an hour.
Yeah.
My goodness, you can do
You
a
can
lot of
kill a
damage.
lot of people real
Yeah.
quick.
Yeah,
Like it's
And even if you are not impaired, okay, you kill someone, one or two people with a CDL,
yeah.
you are in such
Yeah.
serious issues.
Well, it's just
But
somebody
if you can use alcoholism as a
crutch.
as a crutch, well, yeah, no, I
Oh,
can't.
sure.
You can't hold me liable because I have an addiction.
Yeah,
What about an addiction to, like, there was a guy, was it a couple of weeks ago now, just locally around here, who rear-ended a car just outside of our city here, rear-ended a couple of cars on the shoulder because he was texting and driving a highway tractor. Yeah. And
my.
and so they ticketed the poor, well, no, I was going to just say poor guy, but no, he was texting while driving a commercial vehicle, you know.
Yeah.
The guy says, "Well, wait a minute, you know what? It's addictive.
it is.
Texting is addictive."
It is.
Yeah.
Sure.
We all
Yeah.
do it. I'm sorry.
yeah,
we all,
I know.
we,
Yeah.
we all do it.
Yeah, I know.
Some just get caught.
Yeah.
It's like you have premarital sex. Oh, you got caught. We didn't.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah,
exactly.
but
Yeah.
you still did it.
Yeah.
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 I'm guilty of it just as much as everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why
But-
I
and
don't.
I don't carry on conversations on a text. That I will not do.
no.
But
Well, even for me, a pet peeve is I am still astounded at how many commercial drivers will pass me on the road and they're holding their phone like this.
Yeah.
What? After all these years of hands-free device, we've got technology.
yeah,
You're not supposed to touch the phone. It's easy enough just to do the headset. Like,
Yeah.
come on,
Yeah.
hands-free.
yeah.
You're
It's
still
distractive,
distracted.
yeah.
You're still distracted. You're still
The
whatever.
was it what do they call that when I can't be convicted anymore, where the time frame is gone too far. I'll remember whatever. I've read several books while driving. Just between the drivers, like you have to be in a double lane, like it's, and I've read several books just reading. This was many years ago. This was like 30 years ago.
statute
or so.
of limitations.
Statute of limitations on it. So they can't nail me anymore. But yeah, it was really stupid.
Yeah.
But that was actually before Audible, like before they had audio books.
Remember they used to be so hard on guys, they would have laptops and they'd watch movie while driving?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
That has increased by 1,000,000 times.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because now the guys have their phones either here or on the windshield, and they got their
Mhm.
headsets on and they're
Yeah.
watching a movie
Yeah.
while they're driving.
Yeah.
Oh, you
Yeah.
see that all the
Yeah.
time. Guys pass you and they got
Yeah.
they got
They get it shining on their face. It's, you know, everything is dark in the middle of the night or whatever, and you can see that. Well, obviously he's looking at something. It's not his dash lights
Yep.
that are keeping him lit in there.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's for sure. He's watching Jason Bourne or something.
Yep. Yeah.